I keep hearing people talking about that Northeast Tennessee is cheap, it's safe, but if you move here unprepared, you could, potentially run into 8 harsh truths that could make you regret your move and maybe want to make you pack up and leave within the year's time. I mean, I'm not quite sure, but today I want to talk about those things. But here's the flip side. So if you understand these realities and kind of prepare for those things, maybe get in contact with a realtor such as myself and, ask a couple of questions to ensure that this move is right for you financially, for your family, before making that move. Now, again, if you understand these things and get the proper guidance prior to you moving here, then you'll understand why a lot of people, retirees, remote workers, are moving to this area for long-term planning for their family. Let's get started. Now, with any city you move into or, where you live, there's going to be, pros and cons, advantages and disadvantages. But I want to start with just overall transportation here in Northeast Tennessee. So if you move in here, with your family or from out of state and you don't have a vehicle for whatever reason you move without a vehicle, you're going to struggle for sure. The local bus route or local transportation system is not quite in place like there are in, major cities, Atlanta, Charlotte, Sarasota, Clearwater, a major city that you may be moving from. So that's not in place yet. Now, I guess you can still Uber. They still have Lyft. I don't know if they have that here like they do in other cities. But the pros to that, the commute is going to be shorter here. You're going to save a little bit more money on gas. But I just want to let you know, you want to make sure you have a vehicle prior to moving here, or once you move here, obtain one. And yes, healthcare, remote work, and manufacturing jobs, they thrive here. However, if you're looking for like a major tech hub, man, you can just forget about it. It's not here. Now, because it's not here, that's also keeping the housing market kind of down and the rental prices kind of down because it's not really thriving, in the tech market. So again, if you're moving from out of state and you're not retiring here, you may want to check out the job market, make sure you have something in place because, moving to like a major city and you just applying for a job and being able to snatch one up really quickly may not be an option here. However, we do have, 4 seasons, so you can expect to have a humid summer, with temperatures ranging anywhere from, 70 into the high 90s at times throughout the summer, leading into the fall months where, the highs may drop to maybe 80 degrees, 75 roughly, but they're going to drop to like 50 to 40 at night, which is going to allow you to kind of open up those windows and get some breeze in the air, kind of, air out the house and save some money on your utility bill, which is great. Now, moving into the winter time, it doesn't really, the temperatures do drop, into the 30s and the 40s as a high at times. But as far as the snow, we really don't get snow here until the January, February months, which leads us right back into the spring around March, where you're going to see a lot of rain majority of the time. You're going to get that pollen and things like that. So you want to keep that in mind if you have some type of allergies and things like that. Reach out, make sure that you're getting the proper medication if needed. If you have breathing issues or anything like that. But the 4 seasons are something that people are really looking for when they're moving from out of state in comparison to Florida, where it's just hot all year round, and we're kind of avoiding natural disasters. Knock on wood, so to speak. No hurricanes over here, no flooding as of yet, and no really blizzards or anything like that. So, we're kind of in a sweet spot here in the Smoky Mountain. Now, of course, we have to talk about healthcare because that could be a motivating factor depending on what your situation may be. Now, Ballard Health does dominate in this area, so specialization treatments may mean a longer drive depending on where you move to. However, that does mean that it's probably going to be a shorter wait time to get seen in comparison to Florida, which kind of rates a D+ for healthcare for retirees. Now, if you are a retired military or you're a spouse or you do have VA benefits, which is great, we do have the Quillen Hospital in, Johnson City, which is ranked, one of the highest VA hospitals in the nation. Now, if you do move to this area and you're expecting like a nightlife of maybe where you're accustomed to, maybe a larger city, rooftop bars and things like that, having a cocktail at 3 a.m., probably not going to happen. I believe in Johnson City, they're even cutting down the drinking time to like 1 a.m. and just shutting all that off to make sure, the the younger adults are remaining safe, in the Johnson City area. Now you will get, fairs, you will get festivals. The Meadowview Convention Center, they're always having something out there. I believe they're gonna have like the Smoky Mountain Fan Fest coming up. High-end restaurants are not quite here yet. I believe Jonesboro in that area, they just opened up Jackson's Prime Steakhouse where all the steaks are prime steaks. But if you're looking for like entertainment, you're not quite gonna get that as of yet. But if you're looking for a quiet place to kind of retire, have a little fun, be in the house by 8-10 o'clock, this is the spot for you. So like I said before, this area is really growing, so you may want to do your research or subscribe below, tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to learn about the current market of the Tri-Cities of Northeast Tennessee. And again, my name is Christopher. We help families just like yours. So if you're looking to move in 9 days or 9 months, simply give us a call, text, or email, and we'll be more than happy to help you make a smooth move to Northeast Tennessee, especially right now where, year over year, these prices are beginning to climb at a rate between 8 to 12%. So you can get in now, even though the prices are rising, to avoid, the influx of people coming in. It's going to really spike the prices, so to speak, in the next 24 to 36 months. Now, if you decide to take advantage of that, it's going to be some growing pains, obviously. More traffic lights, more schools, more construction, more neighborhoods, which means more one lanes because they're expanding the roads all across the Tri-Cities in Bristol, Kingsport, and Johnson City. So you are going to be a part of the growing pains of this Tri-City area. However, that's going to also mean that your initial investment is going to increase in equity rather quickly as this area continues to grow, which is going to be a great thing and a great thing for your investment for the future, for the long term. So if you're from a bigger city, like myself, I moved here from Clearwater, or if you're coming from, Atlanta, California, any city's probably bigger than this area here, it could feel a little quiet at first, a little disruptive to your life. Like, why is everybody driving so slow? The speed limit's typically 30, 35 everywhere you go. Or if you go into a local grocery store or Walmart, you're behind somebody in line and they typically know the cashier, so they're going to talk about whatever they may have in common, or something just happened to Susie for about 2 to 3 minutes as you sit there in line waiting. That's something you're going to have to get accustomed to. But, once you get accustomed to that, you start to realize that it's not so bad. Like, the commute is not so bad. Driving 45 is not so bad. Actually, taking your time and getting to know people in the community is not so bad. But it is an adjustment period. I just want to let you know that. You're not going to get the hustle and bustle. It's going to be relatively quiet. Depending on where you live, it can be relatively dark. Coming from the Clearwater area, city lights are everywhere. Depending on where you move here, you can turn on the road and there's no street lights at all. It's just you, the woods, some deers may jump across the street, and the headlights. So you want to keep that in mind if you're looking to move to this area. So yeah, these 8 realities, they're real if you're looking to move to the area. Depending on where you're coming from, you could look at it as a trade-off. It could be an upgrade in your lifestyle, depending on what you like to do. If you like to hunt, fish, have a slower pace, maybe get out of that hustle and bustle. So it all depends on what your situation is. Now, if you're raising kids, and again, depending on where you're coming from, it could be a safer place for you. Now, if your son or daughter is autistic like mine, then you're probably going to struggle with that because there's not a lot of activities in the area as of yet for kids with autism. We're kind of working on that in that area. But, for the most part, it's going to be safe. It's going to be relatively less expensive to other areas. So that's why I say that, the time is now if you're looking to move long-term for your family. So if anything I said resonates with you, just simply, reach out. Give us a call, text, or email. I'll be more than happy to kind of walk you through or answer any questions you may have, like I've done in the past for other people that may have reached out for additional information, if you will. But, you definitely want to take a look at this area, make sure it's going to fit your lifestyle and your budget. And until next time, hope to see you around town.